Welcome back to another episode of Readings in Theological German. Listen, if you are a regular watcher of this channel and you're coming to this video fresh, I do apologize for the delay. If you are watching this 5 years from now and the whole series is finished already, I apologize for the apology, which is taking up your valuable time when you just want to get on to this video and many more, which will be in this series. Anyways, it's been a while. I'm going to try to get back into things. I'm still going to work on this article that we've been doing, but just for a couple more episodes to get to a logical stopping point, I want to move over and do some more Ziefle on this channel. I've had a request from one of our viewers to do some Ziefle, and that motivates me to probably make more videos more frequently because I know there's somebody out there that really actually wants and needs to see it. So I'm going to do a couple episodes to get us to a logical stopping point here, and then we'll move on to some of the excerpts in Ziefle. Anyway. So this is the article that we had been looking at. It's probably very small on your screen, but the title is up there. It's by Stein, and it's on the interpretation of Exodus 19:6. We were in this section here where we're looking at the semantic functions of the construct chain. That's an abbreviation there. Mamleket Kohanim, which is Hebrew for kingdom of priests, or is it? That's the big question being explored in this article. In Exodus 19:6a, and I already translated a bunch of this and explained it in the last episode, so you can go check it out there, but I am going to retranslate it just so that you have the context for where we're going today. So you have two elements here. The first element is the ruling noun, the nomen regens, mamlaka. The second element is the ruled noun, kohanim, so the noun that's governed in the construct chain by the head noun. That's kind of the idea. And the two elements of the construct or construction can be interpreted as subjective genitive, as adverbial genitive, or as adjectival genitive. Within these categories, further differences arise. So just real quick for the non-Hebrew specialists out there, I know a lot of you might be doing degrees in theology or philosophy or something where you're not dealing with the languages. It's probably helpful to just kind of know a little bit about what's going on with this Hebrew and why this question is being discussed. So in Hebrew, you have this thing called a construct chain. And here's the basic point, okay? You know always what the words are. So here the two words are mamlaka and kohanim. But when it's in construct, it gets pronounced a little bit differently, mamlaket, kohanim, and that's how you know that it's a construct chain in Hebrew. But the point is, you know what the words are, okay? Mamlaka means kingdom. Well, I mean, it has a semantic range. I think it probably could be rendered differently in this and other contexts. But the point is, you know what the word is. It's mamlaka, so let's just say it's kingdom. We know what it is. And we know that kohanim is priests. So there's not a question here about the semantics of the words themselves. They mean what they mean. In the context. The question is, what is the relationship between these two words? They have to have some kind of relationship semantically in the sentence, and that is what is being kind of discussed and debated here with these different categories. And in English, the way that we will typically translate these Hebrew construct chains is by using the little preposition of. And so you have a kingdom of priests, although here it says priests of kingdom, confusingly, because Hebrew is backwards. Or maybe English is backwards. I don't know. Hebrew probably came first. Anyway, the point being, that's what's being discussed. We're trying to figure out, okay, we know what the words are, we know what the words mean, but what do they do to each other? What happens to the whole concept of a kingdom of priests together in virtue of the fact that it is a phrase that's used together in this way? And we actually have this in English quite a bit. We have, it's probably wouldn't be called the genitive, but it's a type of construct chain. Compound words in English are an example of this. Words that are spoken as if they're compound words, but are probably written as separate words would fall into this category. So you could think of something in English like a prayer request. That's a kind of a construct chain. Something happens to both the word prayer and request. They mean something together that is kind of unique and specific to the construct that is not exactly contained in each of the words by themselves. And so you can see how that works. And in Hebrew, this is kind of the same thing. So the question we're asking is, what is the relationship between kingdom and priests here? What does the whole concept end up sort of entailing as a result? That's the basic question. Okay, so with that question in mind, that's what Stein's is getting at here with these categories. These are the different kinds of relationships that could sort of be possible. So the first group or category, group 1, is the subjective genitive, which Stein's introduced up here. And within that category, you have two different kinds of subjective genitives. The first one is a genitive of agency, and Stein's describes the genitive of agency as having a relationship wherein the second element names the actors, and then you have here a genitive definite article, but it's followed immediately by a prepositional phrase. This should kind of tip you off that you're dealing with a weird construction. And indeed you are. April Wilson, if you use her textbook, I think she calls this an overloaded adjective construction. There is no German on the planet who's going to tell you that that's what this is called. That's a category that, as far as I can tell, April Wilson invented. So since we're inventing categories, I like to call this a heavily modified noun, just because it's a little easier to comprehend as opposed to an overloaded adjective. Because you are modifying a noun. The noun here is Handlung, which of course means something like action or deed or something like that. But here it's going to be action. And so this definite article, der, goes with that noun. So right away, that's what you want to do when you're dealing with these kind of constructions, is you want to find the noun that goes with the definite article and see how your translation goes from there. So you're going to say the second element names the actors of the action. Okay, that's not so confusing. The actors of the action. Okay, the second element names the actors of the action, and then you just have to modify that noun with all the stuff that's in between here. So the actors of the action, and so you can modify in English by using usually a relative clause is the easiest way to do it. So you just sneak a little relative pronoun in here, even though there isn't one in German. You say the actors of the action who in the first element, and here you have an adjective, named or indicated. And so you can just smooth that out and say the second element names the actors who are named or indicated in the action of the first element. Okay, so that's the relationship. And then it gives you an example. A kingdom with priests as rulers. And so what it's saying is, with the kingdom of priests, it basically means that the actors in the first element, kingdom, are named in the second element. So the priests are the actors in the kingdoming, the ruling. Okay, so you have a kingdom with priests as rulers. So that would be the kind of interpretation if you had a genitive of agency. Okay, so for the second type of subjective genitive, you have a genitive of quality, and here the way that relationship works is that the second element has the, oh look, the same construction as we just saw. So find your noun at the end. It has the quality, okay, so that makes sense. It has the quality. Well, what quality? The quality described, or named, I should say, named in the first element. Okay, so it has the quality named in the first element. That's another one of those heavily modified nouns, I like to call them. And then here's your example. Let's just say a royal priesthood or kingly priests or something like that. So here the priests, being the second element, has the quality of whatever mamlaka is getting at, so kingship or whatever. So you could have royal priests. And here you have this little abbreviation is kind of the same as what you might see as CF in English writing, although that's actually an abbreviation for a Latin term. But it just means, you know, have a look at the Septuagint, which renders it as basileon. Let's see if I can pronounce this, eratuma, which again means the same kind of thing, a royal priesthood. And so here, just kind of interesting, this says Priesterherrschaft, this says Priester, so this is basically doing its own translation of the Hebrew, royal priests, and here it's translating the Greek and saying a royal priesthood. So just pay attention to those little endings. You know, shaft typically kind of makes a noun into some kind of an abstract category, and so you have priesthood. Anyways, I hope you found that helpful. Those were some very simple basic things, but we'll leave the rest of this description for the next video because it's getting a bit long. And hopefully you'll be set up well to understand the rest of these genitive descriptions. So, as always, thank you for watching, and please do hit like and subscribe And share it with all your friends, and let's see if we can make this one go viral. Somehow I doubt that's ever going to happen, but well, you never know. Maybe I should stick a cute cat or something in one of these videos.